प्यार भरी सत श्री अकाल, नमस्कार, आदाब and shalom. New Tuesday, new day, new things. As you probably have heard that a ship hit the Baltimore bridge this morning around 1:30, and more details are coming out now. They have located and recovered some of the people. Two of them, they are in serious condition. We don't know how many still are missing out of that, or how many they will be able to find, and search operations are still going on. And bridge, actually, the ship actually hit the bridge because ship lost the power, and that's when the crew from the ship, they declared Mayday. And once the Mayday was declared, immediately the police and other crew members over there, the construction and others, they were able to stop the traffic, and they were able to, in other words, reduce the fatalities. They did not succeed in making it like zero fatality. We don't know how many people ultimately we will find who actually lost life in this incident. But this is something, that bridge actually is one of the biggest artery for Baltimore, and connecting DC area. And interestingly, that bridge had such a nice view. When you come to that bridge, it was amazing. I have taken that bridge twice, and it was enjoyable. And state of emergency has been declared in that neighborhood, and also the President Joe Biden has promised to cover 100% of the cost to replace and build a new bridge. But definitely till the new bridge is built, there is going to be, we don't know for how long the traffic issue is going to be there. It's like building a bridge on the land, which happened sometime back in Pennsylvania, where one of the bridge on 295, a truck caught fire under the bridge collapsed, but they were able to replace, put up the new bridge within a very short time. I think it was less than 3 months. But this is something, it is more challenging, if I may say. And naturally, they will have to go back to the drawing boards, designing and then fabricating the bridge, and then putting it together, putting the pieces together. I'm pretty sure they are already working on it, and it's going to be 24 hours a day. But yes, that was a tragedy which happened earlier today. Number two, for the first time in US history, a former president who refused that he lost the election and happened to run again, a person who refused that he lost the election, but he is running to be the president again, is going to a trial, a criminal trial in Manhattan. And it is going to be, it will start on April 15th. They wanted to delay it. It has been a constant tactic which was used by the former president Donald Trump. Delay, push. And this time, it's already, the date is set. Number one, the attorneys from the president team, they tried to say that there were so many documents, we were not given those documents, this and that. And actually, when you really read the conversation which took place, they had almost everything except some of the documents which were released late by the federal government, because they have their own system, timeline, which documents can be released at what point. And so as soon as those documents were released, they were given to the Trump's team, and the DA, district attorney from Manhattan, Mr. Braggs, he gave enough time to the Trump's team to study those documents so that they can put up their case properly. And they wanted to delay it again, but the judge refused to budge. And also, judge has ordered the gag order. For those who don't understand what gag order is, that Trump cannot make any derogatory statements against anything, whether it's a judge or DA or the jury or any department, which is with that case. And the case, interestingly, is Stormy Daniels' case. For those people who don't know or may not know about it, Stormy Daniels is one of those porn stars which slept with Donald Trump while he was still married, and to keep her quiet before he got elected as a president, a hush money, that's what they call it, $130,000 was paid to her to keep quiet. And I think at that time, because she thought that he will never be the president, and like most of the people, except of course we over here, right here, in JUS Punjabi, we declared that he will win the election. About October 27th, that's when, when I say we, it means myself, and there was a guest, Miss Bhattacharya, and we at that time made this announcement that he is going to win the election. So she got $130,000, kept her mouth shut. After that, he became the president, and then slowly but surely things started coming up, and finally she admitted that yes, she got paid for that and to keep quiet. And then we also know about Mr. Cohen, who was a personal attorney for Donald Trump at that time, who, when typically Trumponian way of working, whenever he is done with a guy, he takes the maximum advantage, and when he's done, then he throws the person under the bus. So he threw him under the bus, and ultimately what happens is that now the law has caught up. This is something which I personally admire about this country, that this is the real democratic. It has its own flaws. It's not 100% perfect, but at the same time, here is a person who actually at one point when he was the president, he was the most powerful person in the world, but now he will be standing in the court in front of the judge, facing the criminal trial just like anybody else, just like you and me, a regular American person like everybody who goes through this process. So that is something unique, which I don't think any other country has anything like even close to this. Even though on the books they may have it, but I haven't seen this thing happening anywhere, and I don't think anything close to this I will see in my lifetime. I don't know about the next generations or so, but definitely not in my lifetime. I doubt it if I will see it, because these are the things actually which matter to general public. Yeah, people can understand when we talk about some of the things. Yes, everybody gets affected by inflation, everybody gets affected by crime, everybody gets affected by like in this case when the bridge collapsed. I'm definite that this is also going to make difference in jacking up the prices in certain part of that neighborhood, and it may even hit the New York, because we are talking about this artery, the Baltimore Harbor, which actually is a huge transit point for import and export, and that has been affected. And when there is no supply then and more demand, yes, you will see some spikes in the prices also. And when it goes down to that point, guess what? People will blame the sitting president. I'm not talking about just the Joe Biden. Had it been Trump or somebody else, it would have been the same thing, that it is all president's fault. Even though the president himself does not control much when it comes down to the prices. And that's why I'm saying it so that we can understand how in this country, when the inflation hits certain point, how it works. And also in the meantime, Trump also got some break on that bond which he has to put up of $454 million. He got a break that he can do it with $175 million. And interestingly, people are saying that he won, but I don't know how people can say that he won, because judgment is still there. The case will go, yes, it has been challenged, it will go through its own process, but yes, he has been given a break, and because he was not able to pull up $454 million, now he has to worry about only $175 million. So we will see. And also, interestingly, Truth Social, which is one of the media like Twitter/X, which was actually floated with Trump as one of the beneficiary, has been given green light to go public, which means that it will go to the stock market. And once it goes to the stock market, it is assumed that Trump's gain will be close to $3 billion with a B dollars. Okay. So would it make any difference to anybody? I don't know, because the RNC, the Republican National Committee funds, are being used for his own personal cases, and the people who actually complained about it, they have been kicked out. So this whole process, it's not just here. I think it is an international trend. But on the contrary, there is another thing happened which is very interesting, that in Senegal, a young person who was behind the bars, only released from the prison only about 10 days ago, who was running to be the president in Senegal, he won the election. It's very important that I should hear from you the views which I'm putting here, and if you feel like there is something which I don't cover or I haven't covered, please let me know. And wherever you disagree with me, I would like to hear that, because I always believe in having a healthy conversation where we can discuss, we can talk about whatever is important for the community as a community. And when I say community, it means the community where we live in, not just the community as a religion, because that matters. And also, the other thing, which we have been talking about, before we go into further details, as we know what is happening in Gaza after Hamas attacked, for me, I think I don't have that kind of knowledge. But one thing is for sure, Hamas was wrong, but at the same time, Israel is wrong also. People are dying, people are, more than 30,000 died, and it's a typical government style propaganda where they say, oh, Hamas is, the reason that those people died because they are hiding among them. I think for a country which rules the entirety of that area, the money, how it goes there, how it is distributed, how it is used, everything was controlled. And interestingly, even when Hamas actually attacked Israel on October 7th, before that, about a month before that, Benjamin Netanyahu was asked about the flow of funds to Hamas, and he gave a green light. And now he is refusing, and one of the reasons for me, the more I look into it, the more I feel like that one of the reasons is because being a prime minister, he will not be prosecuted, and for him that is more important than anything else. He never believed in two-nation theory, and most of the people who read about it, they know about it. But at the same time, people also know that if he is sitting there, one of the reasons he is sitting there is because he does not want to go into the prison. Okay, and that again takes me back to what happened here. The President of the United States has to go in for a mug shot in Georgia, and also that let me say something here. Georgia does not pardon anyone. They do not have anything like pardon. If you are convicted and you end up behind the bars, you have to serve it. There are no ifs and buts about that. Even the President of the United States cannot pardon that. That's their law. So, and also there is another thing which is about Gaza and Israel, which I was talking about, that a UN resolution passed with the U.S. abstaining from that. This is the, previously U.S. was using its veto power for any resolution. This time U.S. abstained. The reason is because Benjamin Netanyahu, the prime minister from Israel, is not willing to discuss how he is planning to tackle those people who are already pushed to the corner and they are dying, and there are going to be more death if Israel goes ahead with its plan to attack Rafah. What is interesting is that U.S. is the biggest donator to Israel, and Israel right now doesn't care about it. They are like, oh well, we will see. And this is something, and this is not the first time where Israel and U.S. had their differences. They had previously also. But I think in recent memory, this is the biggest breakup in a relationship. And I can bet on this thing also, that Benjamin Netanyahu is doing everything, whatever he can, just like the former President Donald Trump does, delay. So Benjamin Netanyahu is also delaying it so that November election takes place, and hopefully for them, Joe Biden loses, Trump comes in, and Trump actually will be a totally different person. Because if we really look into it, one of the reasons where Israel and the others are there now, Trump is the reason. And also Israel took away about 10 square kilometers of West Bank, and made it a Israeli territory, which means that West Bank, slowly but surely, they want to make sure that on Gaza they are using one way, on West Bank, which is on the other side of Israel, on the east side of Israel, they are using the other tactics. so that they actually eliminate every single Palestinian from there. And interestingly, even though Israel is a democratic setup, but it is with a twist. And a lot of Palestinians who live in there, they don't have the right to vote. So that is another twist to the whole thing. They can say, beat their chest that we are a democratic country, but is it really a democratic country in that sense? You know, so when it comes down to that, this is where we stand. And now another tragedy, like in the first section, I talked about the tragedy which happened in Baltimore about the ship and the bridge. In Moscow, in Russia, this mall was attacked where more than 137 people got killed, and it was ISISK, which claims the responsibility. This is something which I really want you to pay attention to. Okay? Russia is at war with Ukraine. America is supporting Ukraine with the ammunition and money funding, which means Ukraine is using the resources not only from NATO but also from US, which are being used against Russia. But still, US provided Russians intelligence that this particular area is the target and it will be attacked. So before this attack, about a month before that, Americans has warned their citizens not to go into that particular area because there is a danger, which means they had information about attack, that what could be coming or what could be happening. Okay? Now, look at this strange relationship. Okay? Again, US helping Ukraine to fight against Russia, but US is also giving Russians information about that you will get attacked. But instead of using that information to stop this thing from happening, it was said, oh, they are trying to do it because they want us to, just fake news or propaganda. And they are using disinformation that Ukraine is behind this attack between Russia and just a moment, trying to log into something here. And yeah, that on the one hand, we have this war between Russia and Ukraine where US actually is helping Ukraine, but also providing information to Russia about the incoming attack which was going to take place, which they refused. So now, as we know that things are happening elsewhere also, we have the election in India. And recently, in India, Kejriwal has been picked up by ED, Enforcement Directorate, about some liquor excise. What is interesting is they picked up Sisodia more than 2 years ago, and he is still behind the bars without a case. And the courts in India, they are letting the ED to keep him behind the bars. It is like I think I did discuss on one of the show that there was this a Muslim press reporter from Kashmir, which was picked up under this new law which was passed by the BJP government, where they can arrest somebody just on the suspicious of something which they will say that okay, he is suspected of this activity, X activity or Y activity, and we are arresting him. It took him 5 years to fight and get the freedom. As soon as he walked out, they picked him up again. So same thing with Sisodia. He is behind the bars. I don't know how long he will be. And interestingly, he got picked up immediately after he was on the front page of New York Times. Interesting, right? Not only that, now Kejriwal has been picked up. Why? Because somehow BJP, doesn't matter how much the Prime Minister, the current Prime Minister Modi beats up his 56-inch ki chhati, he probably was afraid of something which I may not know, and he was adamant about it that he must be picked up. And let me make one thing clear here. If somebody says that oh, he has no role into it, I don't believe it, because nothing happens unless it is cleared. Look at his way of functioning. Look at how he functioned in Gujarat. Look at how he is functioning here. Anybody who crosses him, he makes sure that he will get even with that person. And that is something which we need to understand. And Kejriwal definitely was one of the person who was going to be a crowd puller. And in the election which has they have declared the elections, how these elections will play, I don't know, because it could play the other way also. Now because they have picked up the Kejriwal may pick up the sympathy votes, you know, and that may means what? That means that you know, BJP may lose in northern India and maybe somewhere else too, if not most of the seats, but some of the seats. And in this election, every seat matters, because I'm pretty sure that as far as I'm concerned, that the BJP government as well as the RSS, which actually funnels the votes to BJP and controls BJP, have other things on its agenda, how to more saffronize India. India was a federal structural democracy, and it's not anymore like that. It is only on the books. Otherwise, I don't believe it is the way it should have been, because you know, when you just arrest somebody, a person in politics, okay, I look here, the former President Trump makes joke of every other candidate, pokes fun at every other candidate, but no action is taken, you know, because they say it's politics, and in politics you can do it. Try to do that in India. Say anything against Prime Minister Modi and you will get arrested next day. Maybe that will be even too late. You will get picked up immediately. You know, so how these things are, we actually need to understand that when it comes down to freedom of speech, we need to understand that in politics, you are allowed to talk about what you think or what you view as what could happen. If Prime Minister Modi says anything, there are no action. He made fun of the former Prime Minister Manmohan Singh on the floor of the House in Parliament. Nobody said anything. Even Dr. Manmohan Singh did not say anything, because he knows when he was asked about anything, what he has to say about the situation and the current situation, and if he would like to comment on his duration, he just made one statement. He said history will speak about it. And yes, history definitely will speak about it, because where right now the BJP is actually using those, like in old terms, they always say that, the person who plants the tree may not taste the fruit of the tree, but his next generation will, and generation after that will also, because he is planting the tree for the future generations. And that is what Dr. Manmohan Singh did. If somebody tells me, that that's another very interesting thing which just came to my mind, that everybody, when you talk about, oh, was he corrupt, Dr. Manmohan Singh? Oh, no, he was not corrupt, but the people in his cabinet, they were corrupt. So when they say, oh, Modi is not corrupt, yeah, I'm not saying Modi is corrupt, but what about the people around him? What about Adani and Ambani? How Adani all of a sudden is one of the richest men within such a short span? Those are the things which you need to see. Some of the airport I was reading the other day, the profit margins are actually less in those airports, and whatever was in other airports within India, the one which are being run by Adani Group, they are less productive as compared to the others. But then again, in the press, it's not covered. Why? Because media is definitely afraid. Like I said, when I was in India, I was looking at the things, and I was I really was surprised on few things when I was there, that every channel you turn on, they are singing the praises of the Prime Minister Modi. I'm not saying that his achievement should be marginalized or should not be discussed, but at the same time, those people who disagree with him or policies, they are not there anymore, or they are behind the bars one way and the other. And also the latest news is in Punjab, the BJP and Akali Dal, they could not come to the terms. So BJP is running its own 13 candidates in Punjab, and Akali Dal is running its own 13 candidates in Punjab. So now we have Punjab scenario. Okay, we have AAP, we have Congress, we have BJP, and we have Akali. All four those major parties are putting up their own 13 candidates. And yes, Taranjit Singh Sandhu is a candidate from Amritsar, from BJP. And interestingly, even before he retired, right here in New York, we had a conversation, and that's what we discussed, that he is going to join BJP and he will be the candidate from Amritsar. Unlawful Activities Prevention Act. And it's interesting that while I'm talking to you, while I was talking on the break, I looked at something, and there was a Professor G.N. Sai Baba who actually got acquitted by the courts, and he, or she, I have to still do more research on that, whatever it was, that was acquitted by the courts. And now there are people who are saying that UAPA should have not been there to begin with, which I personally believe, because if you can be arrested, then what? And also, Arunadhiti Roy, which has been arrested also, she probably is also one of the person who is going to be ultimately, I hope she will get acquitted, because the person has the right to speak up his or her mind. And if we start dictating that what can be said and what cannot be said, and if I said this word, I will get penalized or I will get arrested, then your thoughts, you start constraining your thoughts, And once you start constraining your thoughts, you cannot be as productive intellectually as you would have been otherwise. You cannot be on the top of your intellect, because now you are first looking at the boundaries, how far you can see. Whereas these people, they actually don't have any boundary, they go beyond those boundaries, they break those boundaries, so that the people like me can grow up, can learn, and can be somebody in their life, or try to be somebody in their life. For me, when I looked at Arunadhiti Roy from the beginning, I looked at her as somebody who is very straight, and she talks her mind. We may not like her policies, so what? There are so many other people we don't like the policies. There are so many other people where we differ with their opinion. We have our own opinion. We have our own way of work. They have their own way of work. So how does it matter? To me, that is more important, that you have the freedom of speech, because freedom of speech actually indirectly also the freedom of thought, and that is what matters, and that is very important. I always talk about it over here, that at Columbia University, when the Iranian President Mohammad Ahmadinejad was invited to speak, at that time the Mayor Rudy Giuliani objected to it. The Dean of Columbia wrote to the Mayor, "Thank you, but no thank you. We do not need your advice. When we will need it, we will ask you." And he spoke over there. That's the way it should be. What you are afraid of? Put the person on the stage, ask the questions. If those questions are not answered, after he or she is done speaking, repeat those questions. Why they have not been answered? Let the people know that you have genuine questions, and those genuine questions are not being answered. And that's how it should be. Not just because what I said you don't like it and you go to the cops, register an FIR, and sometime, that's another issue which maybe at another time we will talk about it, that some of the FIRs are not even written until they are forced that they should have an FIR registered. Case in point is during the farmers' protest, not this one, the first one, in UP, one of the young kid of one elected official who happened to be from BJP, he actually, with his Jeep, killed a couple of people who were actually sitting on the side of the roads and protesting, because he was not happy about it. That why they are doing it, because my dad is part of the BJP. The FIR was not written till there was a pressure mounted by the families and the people over there, and only then, and I think the court actually ordered to lodge an FIR. So what I'm trying to say here is again that equality is important. We do not want to go back into that time of the period in the history of humankind where the people are judged either from their color, or where they were born, or which family they were born into, or what kind of profession they do. Everybody has to earn their living. Everybody has the right to put the food on the table. But it doesn't mean those people should be shunned or should not be treated as equal humans. That again, that brings to me Guru Gobind Singh Ji said, "Manas ki jaat sab ek hai, pehchan wo," that how the human race is one. We just need to recognize that. That is important. And also, coming back to the American politics, Ronna McDaniel, actually, NBC hired, and I think she just got Either she resigned or she got fired. Yeah. NBC has decided to cut ties with Ronna McDaniel. The reason actually is because she was handpicked by Donald Trump to be the chair of RNC, the Republican National Committee. And she stuck to the same language which the President Trump used for January 6th. That no, it was peaceful protest, there was nothing, da 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 da. Now, when she appeared on NBC, she claimed that January 6th was riot, which totally she went opposite. Even though this time she was speaking the facts based on what we know, what we saw on the TV at that time, in real time, what was happening. The congressmen getting under the chairs. I was there a couple of weeks ago when the congressman elect from Long Island, Tom Suozzi, took the oath. I saw that floor where they were hiding and trying to get out alive while the building was under attack. And now those same people, including Josh Hawley, a Republican, they are saying that they were peaceful. He was running for his life, and now all of a sudden they are peaceful. So that is what Ronna McDaniel, the people at NBC, they were not happy about it. Chuck Todd literally, lit the fire when he talked about it on the show live. And guess what? Now she got booted from there. This is really interesting. For me, I still would like to have a more open conversation where you can talk to each other instead of talking at each other. That is what happens back home in India, that these people, they talk at each other, not talking to each other. And that is something which needs to be preserved. And that is how we should be looking at, if we really want to succeed as a human race, that is a very important factor. And with that note, till next time, good night and good luck.